What's up, everyone? How's it going? Welcome to another AWS Power Hour. Today, we're going to go ahead and talk about what is it? Cloud Practitioner. How did I forget that? Oh my gosh. My name is Aaron Hunter. I'm a senior technical trainer with AWS Training and Certification. And today we have my
I'm
buddy
Matt
Matt.
Heffernan. Thanks for having me, Aaron. Thanks. I've been looking forward to getting together and talking about Cloud Practitioner with you.
Awesome. So today we're going to cover some cloud concepts, but first let's go ahead and figure out who we are, who I am, who you are. So I mentioned I'm a senior technical trainer with training certification. Matt's one of my buddies. He's also a senior technical trainer with training certification. I'm located out of Frisco, Texas, just north of Dallas. My Echo device here next to me says it's 88 degrees. Probably feels like 108. Let us know in the chat. Is it hot where you are? Where are you dialing in from? Joining from? Matt, where are you joining from?
I'm joining from central Colorado. I'm up in the mountains, so it's a little cooler here, but thankfully no snow.
No snow. I mean, it's summer, so there's that as well.
Well, it does snow on the peaks around us, so it never stops.
Let me go ahead and pull up the chat here on my end real quick, and we're going to take a look. Let's see here. Austin, Texas. I see Austin. Hey, welcome from Austin. Let's go ahead and pull that up. All right. I see from India and Bangalore, New York. It is all over. What is this? RTP. Is that Raleigh? I think that's Raleigh. RTP, North Carolina. I see Virginia. I see Guatemala, all over the world, literally. So everyone, thank you for joining. Let us know also. Have you watched an AWS Power Hour in the past, or have you watched an AWS Twitch show in the past? Let us know in the chat as well. I'm curious to know if you have like a favorite one, if there's anything that you prefer. All the things. All the things. Matt, have you watched AWS on Twitch before?
Yes, I have. Yes, I have. And
Which ones?
I saw your machine learning one that you just finished.
Oh,
It was
yeah, that was
very
with Fred.
intriguing. Yeah,
Yeah,
he had the
a lot of
barking dog, right?
yeah. So on that one, for anyone who doesn't know what we're talking about, in one of the episodes, Fred's dog was barking, so I had to mute him. Matt, if you get muted all of a sudden, I'm
Yeah,
sorry
well,
in
I'm worried
advance.
too because my dog hangs out under my desk. I got the dog who knows the most about cloud in the world because she just sits under the desk every time I teach.
So are you
So
saying your dog could pass the cloud practitioner certification?
I don't know. I don't think I don't think she can operate a mouse.
Okay. Um, All right. Hey, everyone. We also have chat moderators. I'm so thrown off. We have chat moderators as well. Hey, Jason, Woodrow, go ahead and do us a huge favor and let us know. Harrison is also here. So, everyone, please say hi to the chat moderators. Huge shout out to each of the chat moderators here, and they will be able to help answer your questions. Let's go ahead and get that up. So, there we go. Shout out to the chat moderators who are here to help us. And that they're not just here to moderate, they're also here to answer your questions. We'll do our best to answer your questions in real time, but I can see there's nearly a half thousand people. So almost that's a lot of people, Matt. I'm kind of intimidated now. It's okay. We'll figure it out. But hey, let's go ahead and figure out what we're doing today. So today we are, let me do this, bring up my screen. Today's the first episode. Episode one, Cloud Concepts. I've already mentioned it. My name is Aaron Hunter, Senior Technical Trainer with AWS Training Certification. With us, we have, he's no longer to my left, he's now down below me. With us, we have Matt Heffernan, Senior Technical Trainer with AWS as well. I'm based out of Frisco, Texas. Matt is based out of Central Colorado. RAD, it's the RAD state. And we're going to go ahead and jump directly into some additional information for you. So, if you just joined us, welcome. This is AWS Power Hour. We have a couple of different resources for you. Let me go ahead and grab this one and I will drop it in the chat. Give me a second to do that. Twitch, chat, and there we go. If you just joined us and if you want to chat with us, you do need to sign up and do us a favor. Follow us. Follow us on uh, on Twitch. And there is a link in the chat there for you. So perfect. I see Woodrow is already doing his introduction. Thank you so much. And on this page that I just dropped in the chat, we can see there's some upcoming live shows. We have a live show right here. This is the current live show. It's the current one that we're doing right now. So hey, live from the Power Hour for Cloud Practitioner. We can see other on demand shows. We can see Cloud Practitioner Cloud Quest. Oh, that was with Raf and Morgan, our buddies from the Cloud Technologists. So they did this like gaming show where they talked about Cloud Practitioner and you go hunting for drones. Yeah, that's a thing. You can pet a dog. You can actually pet a dog in that one, Matt. Have you seen that?
No, I have not. I'll have to check it
Yeah.
out.
So you get these like really cool like avatars that you can walk around the city and you go hunting for drones, and then the drone has like questions. Actually, you know what? Each of you, everyone viewing right now, let us know if you know about Cloud Quest already. And there's a Cloud Practitioner session. Use that as part of your learning. By the way, part of your learning, there's this show now, our Power Hour. There's Cloud Quest, Cloud Practitioner, and all of that is part of the Get Certified Challenge resources. So sign up for the challenge. And when you do sign up for that challenge, we can give you 50% off. It's a 50% off voucher for the exam, not just the practice questions. So that's cool. Save some money. I'm all about saving money. Anyway, so we also have, let me go ahead and click into this. Learn more about the current show, our AWS Power Hour Cloud Practitioner, where you can just get started. We're going to spend the next 6 weeks every Friday at 9:30 a.m. Pacific time learning about AWS Cloud. Today, we're going to cover cloud concepts. So we're going to kick off the entire series with some high-level overview of the cloud, and then we're going to review what you might expect to find on the AWS Certified Cloud Practitioner Certification Exam, and then we will explore design principles of the well-architected framework. Now, some people might say, well, that's not cloud practitioner, but we're introducing you to the concepts, and that helps you. So there's, Matt, how many pillars are there on the well-architected framework?
There are now 6. Used to be 5.
6. Used to be 5. Now there are 6. Thank you for that. So we'll cover all 6 pillars today, and then also how you can apply these principles to your learning. So, Matt, whenever you're ready, go ahead and take the wheel, buddy.
Yeah, so let's first go ahead and just get started. When you're going to go ahead and challenge yourself to take an AWS exam, we can go ahead and you go to our training and certification website. And so this course that we're going to be presenting to you over the next few weeks actually talks, and I put the link in chat, covers the Cloud Practitioner. So this is our foundational certification there, and it talks about who should take this. Someone who's got 6 months experience of the cloud or basic understanding of IT services. When you're starting out in your career, this is the way you start out your career in AWS. As you said, it's $100 US to take the exam, but we do have that the challenge, which I'll show you just in a second, and you can get a 50% discount for you to go ahead and take that exam. There are 65 questions on the exam. You can take the exam at different training centers we have that they can proctor at. You can also take it from home. So Aaron, you live outside of Dallas, so it's probably pretty easy for you to go ahead and get to the training center. I'm way up in the mountains of Colorado. It takes me 2+ hours to get to a regular city.
That's a long time, Matt. That's a
Yeah.
very long time. I'm actually curious if it takes that long for anyone else. So let us know if there's a training center near you and how long it takes to get there in the chat.
Yes. And
Does it
so
take 2.5 hours? Hopefully not.
yeah, so I love taking the exam from home. It's great. First of all, I don't have to get anxious as I drive through traffic to get there and make sure I'm on time. And so that's been one of the options that AWS has offered. We did that through the pandemic, and it's really made a difference. I found that I can go into, you have to be in your own room and close the door, and you go ahead and can take the test, and when you're done, you're done. You're
And
not
there's
spending that time.
there's a comment in the chat as well. So you said like make sure you have your own room, close the door. Quiet and privacy and all that is critical because if there's any background noise or if someone walks behind you, the at-home proctors are going to flag that.
Yes.
Woodrow, one of our chat moderators, has an awesome tip, and he says make sure you have reliable internet because the chat proctors aren't going to know if your internet decided to stop working. All they know is that you just left the session and your time doesn't stop. So yeah.
I will tell you also when you get excited when you you finish your exam. I had the exam results. It told me whether I passed and it was for my sysops. I was so excited, I jumped up and I ran. I ran out of my office, and I ran down the
Oh
hall
man.
to tell my wife. I came back, and the proctor's like, "Excuse me, sir. Why did you leave the exam?" And I was like, "I'm done. It says I passed." And and so they were, thankfully enough. But yeah, you're not supposed to get up. They do outline the rules to you, so don't do what I did and get too excited. Click that final submission.
Yeah. But you know what? I'm happy for you, Matt. I'm happy that you passed. Really, I am. Hopefully everyone else is just as excited when they pass though.
Yeah, a little bit too much caffeine there. But anyway, one of the things that Aaron, I wanted to talk to you about was, what is on the exam? How do you find out what's on the exam, and where do you get that?
How do you find
And
out
so,
what's on the exam? You take it. Oh,
well,
or are you asking like a different question?
Well, I think it's preparing in advance. What are the topics that are going to be covered, and what do you need to know, and where to get that information? And that's really what we're going to spend the time these next 6 weeks talking to everyone about.
I think it's on the exam guide.
Yeah, it is. And so here's this link to download the exam guide, and I've already downloaded it here. And this is the first place I go whenever I'm going to take a certification exam. And I download the guide, and it, of course, tells you what the target description for that candidate is, what are some of the recommended knowledge. So basic AWS cloud concepts. It talks about security and compliance. That's our next session, isn't it?
It is.
It is. So we'll spend a lot of time about looking at the core services. We have over 200 services that we offer. And so we'll go ahead and talk a lot about the different services, and then it tells you what's out of scope, meaning that's not going to be covered on the exam. I think this is really important as well. There's no coding, right? You don't have to design architecture. You don't have to troubleshoot. So you don't have to worry about those, because I get asked a lot from people, do I have to know coding? I don't know coding. I'm just starting my career. You don't have to
No.
worry about it in this
Not
exam.
even not even like the developer associate or the DevOps professional. You don't need to know coding. It's all about our services and how you would apply those services in specific situations or scenarios to help solve the problem.
Yeah. Yep. Precisely. And I just put
And
the link to the exam guide in the chat for everyone.
awesome.
And what I also think it tells you, there are multiple choice questions and multiple response. Multiple choice, you pick one of the 4 answers that are chosen, and then we also have multiple response. So there'll be 2 or more, and usually it tells you in parentheses, select 2 or select 3. So
It
you can go
should.
ahead. Yeah,
And
and that.
with that also, one cool thing that I always like to call out too, if it's okay,
Yeah.
is when it says select two, there's gonna be like 5 response options, and when it says select three, there's typically 6 response options. So pick one, pick the two if it says two, pick the three if it says three. If you pick one, there's no partial credit. If you pick four, there's no extra credit.
Yeah. Yes. And so also here talks about the results. So it is a pass fail exam, and the minimum score is 700. And so you get your score, and you need to go ahead and make sure you hit that 700. So we'll talk a little bit about practicing and other things, but before, I wanted to jump to another link here, and this is just Aaron. I think this is again this challenge that we've been talking about, and here is that challenge
Yeah,
and that readiness. So I know you put the
and
link in,
I
and this is a
just did.
great resource. You jinxed it. Well, it was nice that AWS, that our web developers went in and created a page that you could go to that has everything. We're popping a lot of links in the chat here, and that's great for everyone. But this is the central one. This is the most important one, because it goes through and look. There's the exam guide. There's actually a course that you can take, an online
There's a
course.
course? Wait, no. Are you
Yep.
telling people to stop listening to us and to go take that course instead?
No,
What's going on,
no,
Matt?
no, no.
I thought we were friends.
No, what I'm saying is take them both, right?
I'm looking at you,
Take them
Matt.
both. Okay. I'm not, I'm not trying to get deflect people away from us. I'm
Hey,
trying to go
all,
ahead and show them.
all of our friends here, don't leave. Don't leave. Okay. If you're staying, go ahead and type staying in the chat. If you're leaving, I guess you're not going to type staying. I want to see hundreds of people typing staying in the chat right now. Stay, please. Watch us.
Leaving.
What said,
We've
one
got
person said
people
leave. No,
leaving.
no, don't leave us. Don't leave us. No, we have 5 more weeks. Okay, beyond today, 6 weeks total. Everyone's saying staying. All right, Matt, you can
Well,
continue.
I
We
would
haven't
say
left anyone.
this. I would say this, Aaron. Everybody learns differently.
They do.
Everybody, right? People are a combination of visual learners. They're a combination of auditory learners. They're a combination of kinesthetic learners, right? Typing and doing.
And doing
Yeah,
labs.
labs, and we're going to give them labs. We've
Okay.
set it out every week that we're going to give them labs. And so people learn differently. And I think this is a great tool right here to understand how you learn and to look. And I tell people when they take their first certification exam and they pass it, then do the steps that you took to pass that for all the other certification exams you want to take.
Great point, Matt. So it's one thing to be here and to speak to us in person live, ask your questions. And again, we have people in the chat here to help. So Jason's here, Woodrow's here, Harrison's here. Thank you to all 3 of you. And then I'm looking at the chat too. So don't worry. And Matt, I think you said you're looking at the chat. So if there's
Yep.
anything that is interesting that you want to talk about, we have the first 60 minutes of our show today dedicated to kind of walking you through overall AWS cloud concepts, and then we have 30 minutes of Q&A. So hang out there for us or with us. Now, Matt mentioned one more thing of, hands-on and learning and labs and stuff. So go out and do that. But if you don't want to do hands-on, if you maybe already have, if you don't want to listen to us, you can go out and read some books. We have ramp-up guides. So Matt, I'm sorry for interrupting. Back to you.
Yep. No. And I saw someone said, can we restart the Cloud Quest game? And look, here on that link that we shared for the exam prep, there it is. You can start your quest. So definitely lots of resources here, and find out what works for you. I'm a reader. I like to read the book. I like to read the documentation. That's how I learn. A lot of people don't read that. And if I were to teach how I learn in my classes, it would be boring because I'd just be reading the book to you, right?
Yeah.
No one's
Yeah.
going to pay attention to me for that.
Well,
And
no,
so,
people pay money to listen to audiobooks. So you're basically an audiobook
yeah, well,
author at
yeah,
that point.
but not, yes, at that point, yes. But that's not what we do at AWS. As somebody
No.
said, you guys are keeping me motivated. It's our job as technical instructors to keep people motivated, to go over those concepts and make sure they understand it. And there, I'm going to say this right now, and I always get this in class. This might be a stupid question, Matt. There are no stupid questions. I hate that saying. You've got a question? Let's talk about it. Let's
I
figure
think
it out.
every
Let's
I
learn.
think every question is a very smart question. We have 2 that are so similar. I'm going to go ahead and jump in and answer both of them right now. So one person said, "Where do we go?" Oh, that's not what I wanted. Where do we go? Is it being recorded? Is this session recorded so we can also watch it later? And then one person said, "If we need to drop midway, let's see if I can get this to come up. Here we go. If we need to drop midway, will it be available offline?" The answers to both are yes. Yes. So you can get it. Let me go ahead and drop a link in the chat. The easiest way for you to get it is to just go to awspowerhour.com, and then you can click on the link where it says Power Hour Cloud Practitioner, but there's a link directly in the chat. So there you go.
Awesome. Yep. I think that's important. I find too, I'm sure you do, Aaron, teaching, I'm learning too. I learn during the week. Someone will ask a question. I never thought of that. Oh wow. Okay. Now let's find the answer together. And so that's part of the fun of this job. So
I
let's.
was on mute. Let's make sure that doesn't happen again.
Okay. No worries.
There's one more question, if it's okay. I'm going to bring it up, and it's about the exam vouchers. We did mention it. So first, welcome to AWS Power Hour, Cloud Practitioner. If you're new here, this is what we're doing. We're talking about Cloud Practitioner, and we're going to do this for the next 5 weeks. Well, 6 weeks if you count today. So 6 episodes. Welcome and continue. the journey with us. Now, about the vouchers, this is specific to the Cloud Practitioner Certification Challenge. We are offering a 50% off voucher after you register for the challenge. And this is the link that Matt is sharing on the screen right now. Go to this page, register for the challenge, and we do not offer vouchers for other exams at this time, only the Cloud Practitioner as part of the Get Certified Challenge. So just wanted to call that out there. I did see that question in the chat.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, let's really just talk about cloud computing. Let's go ahead. What is cloud computing? What is this whole cloud computing? You know, people talk, well, is it a fad? No. Well, first of all, it's not a fad, but it's changing business and it's changing how we operate business. And I want you to think about it. If you're in a business and maybe you're in financial business, if you were running and building your own financial business, you're also in another business. And that means you're in the IT business. You've got to purchase servers and hardware, networking equipment, storage equipment. You have to purchase all of that. Before cloud computing, companies were in both areas. And they had to spend. And what happened? When they purchased the hardware that they were going to run their applications on, they were purchasing it not for 2022, where we are today. They were purchasing it for 5 or 10 years out. So what's your workload going to be due in 2027 or beyond? Do you know that? And so they would have to guess.
I barely know tomorrow.
Yeah, I know. I don't know what I'm doing. And I always point this out to students. Go back 5 years. Where were you in 2017? Did you see COVID coming? Not many people did. I didn't.
No, I didn't see anything coming. I don't think I saw. So last week, I didn't know what was going to happen this week. I kind of had an idea. So I can't forecast the future. But I do see one comment in the chat, actually. And speaking of forecasting and predicting things and whether or not there might be some kind of issue or global pandemic, let's live in the moment right now. I see a comment in the chat saying that it's the video or audio is freezing. So let us know if you can hear us okay. If you can hear us, go ahead and type here in the chat. I don't know if you can see it's okay. Go ahead and type a smiley face. Do all the things. Type here and see. You take your pick. Type your favorite emoji. I don't care. Do something. But let us know. All right. So if there are any problems, please do voice those problems. I'm sitting here staring at a screen. I can't tell what I look like or anything. Sometimes this is the first time I'm seeing myself for the day. That's scary. Matt.
All right.
Okay to you?
You sound great.
You sound great to me too, buddy. All right, let's keep going.
All right. So obviously, cloud computing, what is it? It's the on-demand delivery of IT resources over the internet with pay-as-you-go pricing. We had one customer, real quick, when they wanted servers for a project, it took 6 months to get those servers. We're in August right now. They wouldn't get those until January to do their project. Then they went ahead and virtualized their, and guess what? They cut down in terms of time, and they would get it in 2 months. Can you wait 2 months? When you think about Amazon Prime shipping, right? Our 2-day shipping, it's made all of us, you got to wait 2 months. This is August.
Sometimes it's like 2 hours. Sometimes I get it same day, and I'm so spoiled.
Correct. So I got to wait till October to get my virtual machines. And that customer said when they came to AWS, when they migrated their workloads to AWS, they had the agility to go ahead and start up machines in minutes. And so they were very agile to meet the business needs of if they have a new project, if they have a new customer, they could go ahead and meet the technical needs when instantaneously. And that's one of the benefits of cloud computing.
That's because you can scale. So there's like capacity changes and like workload changes and so forth. And with AWS, you can scale, you can launch new resources, you can try things out and see if it's going to work for you, and then you can scale it back if you over provision. There's so much advantage.
And I point out this link, and I'll share this in the chat. This just amazes me too, right? There are a whole bunch of, why businesses are moving. Look at some of these. A recent paper, right, shows that AWS reduced 51% of costs for operations right? Increased 62% of IT staff productivity and 94% of reductions in downtime. That's big data impacting business. And that's what it's all about with the cloud. And I highly recommend you to come to this page and read these papers. And there's a whole host of see what the potential is. And things keep changing technologically at AWS, and who knows what the future is going to look like, but it's going to be a lot better for our customers.
Yeah,
And
when I
for people
joined AWS back in 2015, we had less than 40 services that all fit on one page, just like the page you're showing right now. And now we have over 200 fully featured services. That's just in a couple of years. I can't even imagine what the next. You asked like, hey, where were you 5 years ago? I have no idea where AWS is going to be in the next 5 years.
correct, and the impact that it makes on business and our life. Right? Like you say, that 2-hour shipping. They'll be dropping it off drone on your front porch. So
that's a thing now. I know, it's so
yes.
cool. That's a thing now.
So let's talk a little bit about the global infrastructure that we have. So we have 26 regions. And what's a region? It's a location, a collection of data centers. And each one of those regions has what we call multiple availability zones. And an availability zone is one or more data centers that's separated by separate floodplain, different power grid, and they're connected via high-speed links. And so allows us to go ahead. We can let's look at the map here. And these are different regions in teal there. And we've got the ones in yellow coming, additional ones. In fact, when I started, if you look here in South Africa, when I started, this was not a region. That actually was just a content delivery network, edge location. And an edge location is where we can cache content. So if we were watching videos in South Africa, you could go ahead and we could cache content. But now we have a full-fledged region there. And again, this is very important to see, because you can make sure that you can put your workloads closest to your customers.
Yeah, then you're talking about like the regions and availability zones and the points of presence of the POP, and we have over 410 points of presence now with our actual edge location and also the regional edge locations and so forth. But there's a question in the chat very relevant to what you're asking or explaining. And can you explain the concept of an availability zone just one more time? I think we actually have something on the page that we can bring up as well.
Yeah, let's go ahead and look at our availability zones here. And again, there we go. All right.
And while that's loading, I do see it says, how many levels of cloud practitioner certification is there? Is there only one? And we're going to cover that in a little bit more detail. We mentioned it earlier. We'll bring it back up again later, but there's different domains. So stay tuned for the exam guide that's going to break it all down for you. But look at the domains, not necessarily levels, but how the distribution of questions might be weighted and how you might be able to study for that.
Good point. So back to that question about availability zones. So here we have a list of our North American regions, and regions are geographical locations where we have those multiple data centers. And then availability zones, we have multiple availability zones. And as I said before, those availability zones are one or more data centers that are geographically dispersed throughout that region. And so what we can do, and in order to have redundancy, is I could have a workload that I run, an application that I run in the US West region. So it's in Oregon. And then I could go ahead and have multiple copies of that website, for example, and I could have them in multiple availability zones. And so if something were to happen to an availability zone. Maybe there's a flood, maybe there's a power outage, something happens. Guess what? I'm still have workloads running in other availability zones in that region. And it's about redundancy. It's about the ability to withstand a failure. If you think about it with an airplane, right? I'm sure we've all flown, right? We've got two engines on the airplane for a reason, right? Most commercial airliners can fly with one. So if something were to happen and one goes out, you can still go ahead and continue to fly. And that's what we look
No
for
way. I had
failure
no idea
capacity.
about that.
Yes.
You probably
Let's
know
hope
that
it never
because
happens.
you're an emergency response person, so you probably know all those little like cool details, don't you?
No, well, I am a
Yeah,
volunteer firefighter.
So Matt, you have so much. You have so much going on, Matt. Listen to this, everyone. Hold on. While Matt takes a drink of water, he is an AWS technical trainer. He is a volunteer firefighter. He is an avid hockey player. He has hockey stuff behind him. You see that? My background is not as impressive. They're shelves. They're just shelves.
Stop that.
But look, I mean, Matt, you have so many skills. All right,
Oh,
let's
thank you.
go ahead and continue.
Let's go on. But did that make sense in terms of the availability zone question and why we need them? It's all about redundancy. It's like why you carry a spare tire in your car, right?
Yeah. So, hey, let's go ahead and kind of do a real quick spot check here. If that made sense for you for availability zones, go ahead and type redundancy in the chat. If you didn't make sense to you, let us know. Let us know and how we can help you make better sense. That's why we're here today and over the next 5 weeks to help it make sense, to kind of transfer that knowledge. I see all the redundancy. I see one person type clear. That's not what we asked. We didn't ask you to type clear. Redundancy. But I'll take clear. It's okay. Redundancy made sense. All right. How did you spell redundancy? I see that. It's okay. Try your best. I like that.
Well, we'll use smaller words, right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Awesome. So that's how we have our global infrastructure, and that's where we're scattered throughout the globe. And like I say, a lot of our customers, whether you're in South America, I think I had someone said they were from Portugal, right?
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, so we have a region coming soon. It looks like to northern Spain or southern France. I'm not sure where the borderline is there, but that again, putting that data closer to our customers for them to no latency, right? We have redundancy is important. Latency is also important. We don't want that.
We don't want that. And then one person said, "I'm in the UK. I see two there." Yes.
Yes.
Let's go ahead and check
Yep.
that out. So I see right there, it's kind of hard for me to see it on my end, but yeah, we have a region there. And then within that region, now keep in mind that for the availability zones, there might be two that you can see in your AWS account. But from the Amazon S3 perspective, we actually use 3 availability zones per region. And that helps us to achieve the 11 nines of durability. We'll talk more about storage in a future course. Probably, I think it's next week or the week after. But yeah, let's go ahead and continue on and talk more about the regions and availability zones and the overall global infrastructure that AWS provides our customers so they can go out and move with a swift pace of innovation.
I think Zena ABS 11 said from New Zealand. And so we've got one coming there. I believe this is Auckland, right? Yeah.
I see that. Hey, how's it going from New Zealand? Oh my gosh, that's like literally around what time is it in New Zealand? I have no idea. Hold on.
I don't know.
I got you. Alexa, what time is it in New Zealand? Multiple time zones. 5:04 a.m. to 5:49 a.m. It is.
Wow.
That is early. Well, good morning. Good morning.
Yes, thank you. Hope we're waking you up. All right. So again, this is kind of our geographic where we are within the globe and how customers can use us. And of course, one of the other things that's important too is compliance, right? There are different rules within each one of these countries, and we build our services to make sure that we have those rules, right? That we comply. Europe has the GDPR, right? The General Data Protection Regulation. It's about private information. And so we make sure that we satisfy those requirements with our applications and services in Europe.
I just see in the chat. Sorry, I'm getting super distracted over here. I triggered a couple Alexa Echo devices. I'll say it that way. Wake words.
By the way, isn't that what we do? I was telling somebody that's what we do at Amazon. You're in a meeting and everyone goes, "Hey, Alexa," and you see
I have
who have
headphones for that
Alexa
reason.
in their room. Yeah, you
Oh
have
my gosh.
headphones, but the people who are on speaker, you always get to hear what's happening.
All right, back to our training, our
All
regular
right.
scheduled programming.
Distracting. Okay, a couple other things. In one of the things that you'll find in your career is best practices, and best practices is how you should design for that redundancy, for making sure you get rid of latency, and all kinds of other concepts we're going to cover in the next 6 weeks. And so we have something called the well-architected framework. Have you heard of that, Aaron?
I have 6
Okay.
pillars, 5 pillars,
Six.
Four pillars, six pillars. Okay, 6 pillars. So
We
with the 6 pillars, there's what is it? Repeatability, sustainability. Is that it? Cost optimization, security. Let's pull those pillars up. Let's actually make sure we know what we're talking about here. There we go. Security pillar, reliability pillar, sustainability. That's the new 6th one, sustainability.
Yes.
Do you want to talk about that?
Yeah. So our 6 pillars give you best practices on what to do in certain areas. So it talks about the operational excellence pillar. Let's start in the upper left-hand corner of the screen here, and talks about running and monitoring your system and continuously improving processes that have that. There's documentation you can download to Kindle. But there's also labs, and I think this is really important as well. Now, we're going to assign some labs, but as you go through your career, as you build, there's going to be an operational excellence pillar, and it talks about inventory and patch management within AWS. And these are free labs that you can go ahead and do.
Wait, hold
to
on.
learn.
So I triggered someone's Echo device by using the word Alexa, but my wake word is free. What'd you say?
Yeah, free. Yes, free
Free.
labs that you
I'm
can go
listening.
ahead and do and
Aaron is
improve your.
listening. Please continue.
Yeah. One of our leadership principles as AWS is frugal, and when you hear free, that's why that's one of your strengths, isn't it, Aaron?
Free is really good. And you know what? This person said, loves labs, keeps things fresh, and that is absolutely true. Let's go ahead and drop that link in the chat, Matt. Come on,
Yeah.
let's help people out.
I will go ahead and drop that here. This is for the operational excellence pillar, but again, one of the things too goes back to what I talked about earlier: kinesthetic, right? Learning, doing. By doing, you learn more, right? If you hear it, you're not going to remember it as well as if you actually do it. And so, docs can only do so much. Yeah,
Yeah, I see that one. I'm going to bring it up right here too. Exactly. Docs can only do so much. And in the exam guide, it actually does recommend for every single one of our certifications to have some kind of hands-on experience, whether it be 6 months or a year or 2 years. So that goes all the way from the foundational level cloud practitioner up to the associate, up to the professional, and even into the specialty certifications. We do highly recommend that you have hands-on experience, because that muscle memory is important for you to be able to say, okay, I remember seeing this one example, or I ran into this during the lab and I know how to solve the issue. So hands-on labs, but this is for the well-architected labs, and they still go through and they have these like specific design principles to help us reinforce our learning.
Yep. And I see a question in the chat says, would every company using AWS need to duplicate their data on multiple AZs for redundancy? And for failover purposes, yes. And that's more of an architectural design kind of goes beyond the cloud practitioner here, but you're thinking ahead. That's good. We want to make sure we have that redundancy. And you talk about being a lot. It depends upon how we set things up. Amazon, Aaron, you were in. What'd you start your career here at AWS? Weren't you an S3 engineer?
No, not quite.
Not
I
quite.
worked
S3
closely
support.
with the Amazon S3 team, but I did work as a cloud support engineer. So we did a lot of troubleshooting and break fix scenarios. Basically, it's support engineering, and that team is responsible for working with you when there might be something that maybe you don't know the answer to, or you're coming across an API error, for example. And they'll help to identify if it's something on our end and help you troubleshoot that. So I worked with that team, and it really, really reinforces the fact that yes, we have at least one data center per availability zone and at least 3 availability zones per region, and we have multiple regions, 26 globally. But when we start talking about reliability and high availability, those are two different things. Reliability is whether or not you can get to your stuff when you need to, and let's say you're failing over to a different region, that's increasing your reliability. Your high availability would be scaling across multiple availability zones, maybe in the same region. So that's where having a single AZ might not be best practice. It's up to you to use that for, let's say, a subnet. We'll talk about that later on. But then we start saying, hey, how do we have maybe multi AZ infrastructure and multi region infrastructure?
I think one of the things too, to go back to the student's question, was S3. When you create and store something in S3, we make copies of that storage and put it in 3 availability zones in the region you chose. So you
At
don't
least
even
3
have to do
availability
that.
zones.
At least 3, yes, at least 3. And so you don't even have to do that yourself. You're not that's configured automatically for you, so that we can make sure that it is highly available.
There's one exception to that rule, though, and what is it? The different storage class. So there's one zone.
Yes,
Yeah, there's the one zone storage class,
IA.
and
Yep.
if you select that, yeah, one zone IA. If you select that storage class, it's only gonna your data is only stored in a single availability zone. So when you store your objects in a one zone IA storage class, make sure that it's recoverable or repeatable type objects. So just be
And
aware of that.
and we'll switch. We'll come back here to the well-architected framework. I think we have. I think we've planted the seed to get them to come back to when we have our storage in a few weeks, right? Our storage
A little
episode.
bit, yeah.
I
We'll
think.
we'll dive a little bit deeper in the storage when we actually get to that episode. But while Matt's taking a drink, one last time here, go ahead and let us know if you've heard of Amazon S3 by typing S3 in the chat. I'm curious to know if anyone has not heard of it as well. If you haven't, go ahead and type a question mark if you have not heard of Amazon S3. If you haven't, well, you're welcome. And come back to the next episode. We will talk more about it. Oh, I see a question mark. All right, perfect. For all those who are saying S3, one person saying S3 and a question mark. Awesome.
Yeah. So, where should we go from here, Aaron? Should we get back
So
into the well-architected framework?
let's go ahead and do it.
All right. Well, the second pillar, of course, and they're not in any particular order here, is security. How important is security? That's job one at AWS. It's
It's
make
a
sure.
very, very important job.
I'll tell you a funny story. So during COVID, my wife tutored a neighbor, and he was 7 years old, and they would meet over Zoom. And it was one day I came by, and it was his birthday. So I wished him happy birthday over Zoom, and I said, "What'd you get?" And he goes, "Matt, you know." I said, "I don't know what you got for your birthday." He goes, "No, Matt, you know." And I said, "No, I have no idea what you got for your birthday. How do you think I know?" He said, "Matt, you work for Amazon. You just go into my mom's account and see what she bought me." And I was like, "No, that's not how it works. Okay, we have we have things locked down for security." And it was interesting to have an 8-year-old, because he was turning 8, how his perspective of how computers worked. But security is very important. Keeping confidentiality, integration of data, managing user permissions. We're always talking about security. here. So again, there's a security lab. I'm going to go ahead and open that up as well. Oops. And I'll share that. So definitely you can start to see the different areas, and then you can focus your career as well where you want to go. We also have the reliability pillar. So how can we quickly recover from failure, right? To meet demands. How do we design systems to do that failure? I told you the example that airplane has been designed for reliability so that your airplane can fly on one engine.
Yeah, and that brings back to this question right here, because you have a really good analogy about that, about the airplane with two engines. That's high availability. If one engine has a failure, for example, or has some kind of malfunction, you still have two engines. So reliability is the ability to still fly that plane. So that's the
Yes.
difference between high availability and reliability.
Yeah, and if you think too, high availability is certain airports around the country, around countries, the airlines have as hubs, and so they have spare planes there. And so if it's one plane, there's a mechanical issue, they have high availability. They can go get another airplane, right? It's out in the hangar, and they can bring it. Yes, you're inconvenienced and have to wait while things are moved over, but that's high availability. Different than reliability, which is the ability to sustain that failure with that system.
Yeah, and our CTO, Dr. Werner Vogel, says everything fails all the time. And I'm looking at one of his tweets right now, and I'm waiting for it to pull up. Give it a second. But he was sitting at an airport, and the system actually went down. So he says everything fails all the time. This time, the immigration computer system at Santo Domingo Airport just when it is my turn. So, yeah, plan around high availability and resiliency because you don't want that to happen to you. I would hate to have Dr. Werner Vogel's tweet about something that happened.
Correct. Correct. And now let's jump into. Let me post the reliability pillar labs as well. But before we'll jump into performance. Performance is important. Are you into? I'm into cars. I'm a car nut. And so if you think about it, performance is looking at your dashboard. What's going on? How many miles per hour or kilometers per hour are you going, right? Depending upon where you are in our audience. Are you driving a hybrid? Are you driving a gasoline or diesel powered car? Are you driving an electric vehicle? Your dashboard's going to show different information to you, so you can go ahead and do that. And I think we had another question, Aaron, about repeating reliability versus high availability.
Yeah, we can. I have that one starred, so we can come back to that maybe during the Q&A, so that way we can make
Okay.
sure to make it through the rest of our stuff. But hey, keep asking your questions. We do have chat moderators. We have people who are here to help answer questions in case we aren't able to. We also have time dedicated at the very end of this episode to come back to questions and maybe refresh and explain something a different way. And by the way, if you're new here, if you just tuned in, this is AWS Power Hour. Today we're focusing on Cloud Practitioner, and this is the first episode of a 6-part series that we're going to dive deep into Cloud Practitioner, the exam, the concepts, and some study tips. All right, everyone, let's go ahead and continue on.
Awesome. So going back to performance. Performance is key. And so with just like your car, making sure that your car is performing well, that the tires are aired up appropriately, that the electric system, that when you stick the key in, you can go ahead and turn it on. Or some of the cars now, you don't even need a key, right? You just have it on in your pocket and just press the button. Tells you how old, why I why I drive an old car. And so it's really important. It is really important. And so your application's performing as well. They say that if you go to a website and there's latency because you want to buy something, what happens? If most of the time people will go to a different website. And so as a business owner, I want to make sure that my website performs well so that you don't go somewhere else. Okay, because what's happened? These things, these are great technology-wise, but they've also made us what? A little more impatient. And
I
so
was going to
what's
say
gonna
lazy. It makes
well,
me lazy.
Now you're starting to guilt me out. You sound like my dad.
Hey, it looks like we have someone who might have redeemed a dad joke. I didn't know we had that here. Um, do you know any dad jokes, Matt?
Oh, you
That we
know
can
what?
actually say.
I do have one. I had a buddy last night who sent me a bunch of dad jokes. Um,
Well,
he said, if
my
a
wife
police
said I should
officer, here's the dad joke. If a
do
police
it.
officer tells a kid to go to sleep, okay, but the kid doesn't want to, is he resisting arrest?
Oh,
Oh,
that's oh
that's,
my gosh.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I'll give a free one. Okay, so like sometimes I work out. I have like a workout bench here, and I have a bicycle over here in my office, like on the back side of my desk. And my wife says you should do lunges, and I was like, I don't know, that sounds like a pretty big leap forward.
Oh, okay. Oh, we're going to lose the audience. No one's going to be here next week. I had a friend in class who went to a customer site teaching for a different company years and years ago, and he showed up and nobody showed up in the classroom. So they walked him to, and he was standing there, and he just started at 9 o'clock in the morning. He said, I said, well, what did you do? Did you wait? Did you go find someone? He goes, no, I just started lecturing. I said, you stood in the room and talked to yourself? Guess what? Some manager went by, a high ranking manager saw him in the room talking, said, what are you doing here? He goes, there's nobody here. And he goes, well, there
Oh
will be. Boom, like that.
gosh, our jokes, Matt. And now I'm free on Fridays.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Thank you very much. You can show that one. That's awesome. All right. Cost optimization, right? Cost optimization. And we work hard at AWS to ensure that you are spending the money you need to on the cloud, but nothing more. And so we have all kinds of different savings plans. We have different tools. We have a tool called Trusted Advisor, which will give you recommendations and tell you that you sized your virtual machine too large and you're wasting resources. And you say, well, why would we do that? Well, isn't AWS in the business of making money? Well, we are, but we're in it for the long haul, right? Customer obsession is our number one leadership principle, and we want to make sure that our customers save money. And so we spend a lot of time on that cost optimization pillar. Saw a question pop up that somebody said, what's the difference between operational excellence and performance? And
Wait, hold on.
operational,
I didn't see that one. Let me pull it up.
it was back a ways.
We should bring that up here. Here it is. Found it. There we go.
Yeah. And so a lot of times with operational excellence, it's running and monitoring the systems and keeping them up and running at the time. So how you automate changes and how you make changes. You don't want to just start. I give the example. Have you ever worked with someone, Aaron, in your career where there's a problem with some system and they come in and they start changing things? And nothing worked. That doesn't work. Doesn't solve the issue.
That's never happened in my career. Everyone
Oh, wow.
always knows the answer. Yeah, I've
All
only
right.
worked
Well,
with experts.
okay. All right. Well, in mine, I always deal with someone who makes the change, and then they don't. Then they start making another change without making the first change going back to the setting, and they make the problem worse. And so, really, automating changes and how you respond to events is the operational to keep operations up and running. Performance is to tweak it and make it perform better, to streamline it. So there's a little difference there. It seems to be overlapping, and it does. But yeah, very, very important in terms of operational and performance pillar. So let's go ahead. I'm going to open up those labs for the performance. I know we're getting close to time, Aaron, so I want to make sure that we cover the rest of those pillars. So here is
And one person
efficiency.
said, That helped a lot. Subtle difference. Thank you. So great job explaining that. Now, there is also another question of how to view the recordings, or is this session being recorded? And the answer is yes. So I posted a link in the chat. Go ahead and save that. You can go back and you can watch the on demand recordings, watch them as many times as you want. There's no penalty. If anything, it's going to help you reinforce. If something didn't make sense, please feel free to bring that up during our Q&A session, and also come back next week. We're happy to repeat something that we said earlier or in a previous week or a previous episode. And yeah, we're here for you. Okay, everyone. If this is your first time here, welcome. This is AWS Power Hour Cloud Practitioner, the first episode of a 6-part series. We're going to be doing this every Friday at 9:30 a.m. Pacific time for the next 6 weeks. See you every single episode. Don't go anywhere.
And just saw someone said, so operational pillar is related to change in configuration management. Yes. Right? Where performance is making sure your application is running performance. How much CPU do you need? How much memory? Is it a database where it needs more memory and you didn't size it appropriately? So that's just an example.
I'm going to flag this question when we get to cost optimization, how to know about unnecessary costs. So we'll come back to that one when we cover cost optimization.
Okay. And yeah, I was actually, I believe I just shared the cost optimization lab that we can do. There are multiple labs. I'm showing it right now. There's the 100 lab as you get started, and then there are multiple. So we have Cost Explorer, we have billing and usage reports. We have all different ways that you can jump in and see what costs are. I don't know, does anyone balance their checkbook every month?
My wife does. For me, I'm very bad at math. I'm very bad at finances.
All right, my wife does too. And she goes through it, and I'm not bad at math. I actually enjoy math, but the way she does our checkbook, I don't know it's what language it's written in, and so it's not what I learned when I took an accounting class in college. And so I just let her do it, and as long as there's food in the fridge, I'm happy.
Checkbook balance? What is that?
Yeah. But it is important to look at different pricing models, cost usage, cost visualization. What I really like about AWS, and we'll see this as we go throughout this session, is we've done a lot of graphical usage in our console. We're going to get into the console next week, but I like to see things visually. I'm a visual person. I got to see what's happening. And we have the ability to look at different dashboards and diagrams, and we can see how cost trends have happened. That's very important.
Ooh, there's some kind of alarm. What's going on there?
There's an accident in the north of the county. I don't have to go. It's not in my area, but
okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Let's.
Are you on call today?
I'm on call 24/7 all the time. There's no time I'm not on call. So,
well, hey, thank you for always being safe and helping to keep our community safe. But you're talking about these different labs, and we have the different pillars and the well-architected labs, and there's these numbers: 100, 200, 300. What's the difference between them?
Oh, well, it's just like we've designed them like a college would. And so 100 is entry level, 200 is associate level, 300 is what we would call a professional level. And so with the cloud practitioner is a foundational, and that is a 100 level. And so target those 100 levels, and then as you continue to grow, as you continue to learn, go ahead and do those.
Yeah, and we have someone who joined a little bit late, and they heard the alarm and talking about doing what you can for our community. So I'm gonna bring this one up. Let's see. That's directly for you, Matt. I'm gonna let you handle that one.
I am I'm a volunteer firefighter. Yeah, thanks. That's why I'm growing the cheesy firefighter mustache.
I
which my
wasn't going to
wife
bring it up.
doesn't
I'm
like.
glad you
Yeah,
did.
yeah, I didn't want someone to think a caterpillar fell asleep on my upper lip. Anyway, yeah, I wanted to be a firefighter
Actually,
since I was 4 years old. So
everyone, if you appreciate Matt for what he does outside of working and helping us to learn about AWS Cloud, throw a heart, a less than 3. Throw all the love in the chat from Matt right now for volunteering his time to help keep us all safe. I see all the hearts coming in. Look at that.
thank you,
You got
sir.
so
You
much
didn't have
love.
to do that. It's the greatest job I've ever had. It is. Anyway, let's get back to sustainability. You want to help people? Well, they're right. There's a lot of talk about the climate nowadays, isn't there? And we added this pillar last November. We haven't mentioned reInvent, have we, Aaron?
We have not yet.
All right. So we have a big conference every year after the last week of November, first week of December, in Las Vegas, and it's called reInvent, and that's where we announce our new services, and it's a great get together, and we announced the sustainability pillar, and so this is a way to work on impacting or lessening the environmental impact of your workloads in the cloud, and so we can tell you what your carbon footprint is, and how you can help reduce that.
Nice. Someone redeemed a bad joke. I'm gonna do it. It's fun singing in the shower until you get soap in your mouth, and then it's a soap opera.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I know.
Okay. Is this so we
This is what I've
also
resorted to now.
yeah. So one of the things I want to mention as we're ending here, Aaron, and going to turn it over to questions is we have this well-architected tool. So the well-architected framework was a lot of documentation, and I think somebody said earlier that you can only read so much documentation, and you want to be able to do. And so we also have this well-architected tool, and I'm going to go ahead and put the link in the chat. And this well-architected tool will allow you to, it will look at your environment and how things are configured in AWS, and then it'll make best practices. It'll tell you what you can change to improve performance, to improve sustainability, to improve operational excellence. And so it's just a great thing. I love that we now have a tool for it. Yeah.
One person said, came here for the training, staying for the jokes, and then someone else is giving away free jokes over here. Let's give them some celebrity time. Okay, 5 minutes of fame. Here we go. Oh, hold on. I lost it. There it is. Oh, it keeps scrolling. There we go. Right there. I thought it was something. Lambda.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Okay. Hey, Darko, buddy, steal this one for your next one. Build live. All right. Hey, let's go ahead and wrap this up. I think we have to move over to our homework and then Q&A pretty soon.
Yeah. So I showed the 6 different labs for the well-architected framework, but here is the lab essentially that or to go ahead and start off at. So here's the link, and what we wanted to assign for homework is to go in and do the AWS, pick one of the labs. I mean, yes, we have 6 of them, plus a lab on the tools, on well-architected partners, and stuff like that. But really go in and pick your favorite area of what you think of the well-architected tool. And if it's security, well, then click on that security and come in and spend some time doing the 100 level foundational labs. Okay, what do they say? Get your hands dirty. All right, you're going to go ahead. You've heard us talking. Now get to play around.
I don't
in the
know.
AWS
There's a TV show all about dirty hands, and that's ruined me. All right.
All right.
So after the labs, what do we have? We talked about our ramp up guide. We have some homework for you. So I'm going to go ahead and steal the show here. Episode 1 homework. Thank you, everyone, for being here. It is the end of our overall presentation. We do want to reserve some time for you to answer your questions. I have a couple of them starred and pinned. We'll come back to them. But we have homework for you. Your homework for your task for episode 1, if you choose to accept it, is to review the Cloud Essentials ramp up guide. Matt, if you can throw that link in the chat for me, please. And then go ahead and
Yep.
complete and share your favorite learning resource. Pick one, any one, doesn't matter. And then share that on LinkedIn. Tag myself and Matt with the longest LinkedIn name ever, using the hashtag AWS
Okay.
Power Hour. You can reach me on LinkedIn as Aaron S. Hunter. I'm also on Twitter using Aaron S. Hunter. And then Matt is at Matthew Heffernan 1978082. We'll see if we can get that fixed before next week. But
Yes.
feel free to screenshot the hits, go back, watch the recording.
All right. I want to admit that Aaron said, "Hey, you should probably create an alias for your LinkedIn," and it just went right over my head. And so this morning when we were preparing for this, he goes, "Oh my gosh, you
you,
didn't," and I'm like,
you didn't
"Oh,
fix
I
it.
forgot." Yeah.
And
So
there you go. Someone already put your LinkedIn in the chat. Thank you so much for doing
thank you.
that. All right.
All right.
Let's go ahead and move over to our Q&A. Um, Welcome to the AWS Power Hour Cloud Practitioner Q&A section of our show. We're going to spend the next roughly 20 minutes, like maybe 15 minutes, answering your questions. If you have questions, go ahead and throw them, type in them in the chat, paste them in the chat if you already have them pre-copied. And yeah, let's go ahead and move on. So I have a couple that are starred here. We'll show this one. Does Cloud Practitioner exam include labs?
No, no, it does
Not
not.
this one, but we
Not
do
this
have one that. But we do have one. Which one?
one. That is the SysOps exam. Does have a lab function, and I don't know, but I would guess that coming down the road, some more of our associate exams will have lab components.
We can't
Just
speculate though. We can't share
well, that's
anything.
true.
Yeah.
That's true.
As of today, only one exam has labs, and that is a SysOps Administrator Associate exam. The Cloud Practitioner does not have labs as of today.
Correct.
Let's see. So next question here, and I do see people are redeeming some coins. Okay, I see that. I see that. I'm going to come back to you. I promise. All right. How many levels of Cloud Practitioner certs is there, or is there only one? And by levels, they mean difficulty. There's only one difficulty, one level of difficulty, but we do have domains. So Matt, how many different domains do we have, and where can they go to find those domains?
Oh, yep. Awesome. So here we go. There, it is a foundational level. Here, I'm going to pop this in the chat. This is the Cloud Practitioner
And if you want, go ahead and feel
exam
free to
guide.
share that on the screen and maybe show us.
Oh, wait, sorry. I, let me share
Can you
that.
zoom in a little
All
bit
right.
for us?
Yes.
I feel like I'm getting old. My eyes, they're not the same as they used to be.
We have a good vision plan here at AWS.
Thank you. It's a ramp up guide.
So here are the domains. And the domain, we have 4 domains: cloud concepts, security and compliance, technology, billing and pricing. And then it covers it. They're broken down. It shows the weighting of them. Look at 33% is technology. And that really looks at the number of, say, services. And so you can go through and look at all of the different, here's the technology, and it looks at things like our global infrastructure, right? Those regions and availability zones and edge locations that we talked about. But I'll
Yeah.
pause there.
And in terms of levels and difficulty, it's one level, one difficulty, but it's broken up into multiple domains. So really good for studying because then you can focus your attention on one domain, really knock it out of the park, and excel at that, and like dive super deep. And then you can go to the next domain. And when you take practice exams, then we provide you the feedback back to you that's broken down in those domains to say like, hey, you're good here, then you should go back and maybe work on doing more labs in this one other section over here.
Awesome.
Awesome. What's next? Let's see here. So I think we brought this up a couple times already, but I have no problem bringing it up again. Matt, I loved your analogy about the engines. Do you want to bring that up
Yep.
and explain
Yeah.
reliability and high availability using that?
High availability is being able to replace one component with another component. And so an example of high availability is you're at the airport and that plane has a mechanical issue. They go get another plane and bring it to your gate, and now because they had one highly available, they had another one available and they just brought it to you. And so now you'll fly on that one. With reliability includes redundancy. And reliability we want it to perform well, but in case it doesn't perform well, we want to make sure that we have redundancy. We have another component that will run. And so if I have if I have an airplane, most airplanes have two engines on them, and most planes can fly. Most commercial jets can fly with one engine only. That's reliability and redundancy. Okay.
Awesome. Cool. So after that, we have one more here. Let me see. As a first time user, there we go. As a first time user in the cloud practitioner certification, is that the best way to start? I would say, yeah. So if this is your first time, maybe taking an AWS certification, this is a great start. If you have a lot of years of experience, but you want to validate at the very beginning, this is a great foundation. The AWS Cloud Practitioner certification is a foundational certification. So really good to kind of get your feet wet or validate the skills that maybe you're not comfortable with as well. And get this, it's part of the Get Certified Challenge. So right now we have an active Get Certified Challenge where if you sign up and register for the challenge, and we'll make sure that link gets into the chat here pretty soon, then you get, what is it? Half off, a 50% voucher for the exam. That's savings. And you know
Yeah.
what?
Oh,
I
and
have to
what
clear my
happens?
throat.
What happens,
Yes.
Aaron, when they pass that exam
Yeah. So
in their AWS
it's
account?
it's like
What do they get?
compounding, right? So when you get 50% off now, and then you pass the cloud practitioner exam, and then we give you another 50% off, and then you don't have to like register for another Get Certified Challenge. I mean, you still can't challenge yourself, but you get another 50% off voucher that you can use for any AWS certification, not just cloud practitioner in the future. So register for the challenge, get the cloud practitioner voucher, that gets you half off. Pass the exam, get another voucher, and then go take any other exam that you want.
Well, you didn't put in there back to another AWS Power Hour for that
Oh,
exam.
right. Yeah. Come back to the, yes, exactly. Yeah.
Yep. It won't be with me, but it'll be with you.
It
And
might not be. You never know.
he has more dad jokes.
They're bad jokes.
Bad dad jokes.
What do you call a fish wearing a bow tie?
I don't know.
So sophisticated.
Oh.
All right. So let's go back
Is
to the
this over
questions.
yet?
Let's go back. Let's
Am I
go.
having network issues?
All right, let's go back to the questions. I'll go
All
ahead.
right, yes.
When's the deadline to take the exam as part of the challenge? December 14th. So we have that. Go to the challenge page. We'll drop a link in the chat for you as well. Um, one person said, "So cringe." I'm sorry. It's just, it is what it is. People redeem bad joke like tokens, and I have to do it. Share the homework slide. I'll bring that up one more time, probably in the next 5 minutes here. Okay, not a problem at all. I will bring up the homework slide. Let's see here. Exam
Oh,
guide, source of
oh.
truth. Yeah. So
I only
Harrison.
know 25 letters of the alphabet. I don't know why. Oh, you've got them started.
All right. Hey everyone. Thanks for joining.
Yeah. I'm gonna go have my wife start a fire.
Right here. So people are questioning, is there a time limit for the vouchers? The voucher is good for 3 years. Whenever your certification that you earned that voucher from expires, then the voucher itself expires. And then for the cloud practitioner exam, so like when does that exam expire? When you pass it, it's good for 3 years. Like really good to know that. There's actually you can take it after 2 years, and this is something that I'll go ahead and throw as like a curveball knowledge information. But if you don't pass your exam, if for some reason you don't, you can go back and take it again. If you don't pass it again on the second time, you have to wait some time. All of this is in our FAQs. Now, one thing that a lot of people don't know is that once you pass it, you have to wait 2 years until you can take it again. Your exam itself, or the certification after you pass, expires after 3 years. So you have between year two and year three, so you have one full year to take your exam one more time. So kind of plan around that. If you plan on getting multiple certifications, I've seen some people get 10 in a year because they have a lot of experience. And you know what happens? That third year, they have to do all 10 again. So
Yep.
yeah, don't make it hard on yourself.
And Harrison said, passing an associate exam then renews your cloud practitioner exam, and so
Yeah.
that's a good strategy. And I as I've planned out my certifications, it's definitely to space them out so that you don't end up with all 10 or whatever you've taken to be renewed in the same year. That could put a lot of pressure on you.
Yeah, so you can get your cloud practitioner exam, your foundational exam, and then you can go and pass your associate, one of the three associates, and that will renew your cloud practitioner. And let's say we'll go with the solutions architect associate or solutions architect path right now. So cloud practitioner to solutions architect associate, that gets renewed. And then solutions architect professional, that renews the SA associate and cloud practitioner. That's where the renew chain kind of stops. If you go out and venture into specialty like security specialty, those do not renew any other certifications.
Yep. And we had a question. So you don't have the highest level cert doesn't renew all the lower level ones. I call them swim lanes. So the solution architect associate can be renewed by the solution architect professional, and then we have the sysops and developer associates, and then if you pass the DevOps professional, it'll renew both of those. And so it really depends upon the swim lanes, what your area of expertise is, and where you want to take your career.
Yeah, that's a really good way to put it. So think of it as like a vertical kind of as well. Um, and let me see. We used to have a diagram. I think we changed our page where it no longer shows it, but it used to show like foundational would be this like bottom bar, and then you would have, like Matt said, a swim lane going up to SA professional and a swim lane going to DevOps professional.
Mhm.
So to stay in
Yeah.
your lanes, get outside the lanes, venture outside and learn more. But that's a really good way to think of it.
And one of the other things that comes up, Aaron, is what about the specialty exams? And we have 6 specialty exams. Those are do not renew any other exam, any certification exam.
Correct. Yeah. So they're in their own independent swim lanes.
Yeah.
So you can think of it as like having a solutions architect swim lane, and then you have DevOps professional swim lane. Then you would have specialty, specialty, specialty. So we have security, machine learning, data analytics, databases, advanced networking, and the latest one, SAP on AWS.
An example I give a lot of former coworkers I had at the place I worked before I joined AWS had high level networking certifications, and so they got the AWS Advanced Networking Cert. That was they because that's their area, and now they have to talk to customers that are migrating to the cloud.
And there's actually a question here about the overall difficulty. Hold on, let me see if I can find it. There it is. So they passed the Cloud Practitioner and Solutions Architect Associate exams. Congratulations. First of all,
Yeah,
thank you for taking them.
nice job.
Congratulations on passing. Nice job. Round of applause. Okay, let's go ahead and throw that in there. Round of applause for you. But the question is, when they attend reInvent in Vegas, reInvent 2023 or 2022, sorry, will they be out of their league with the workshops? And I would say no, not at all. So a lot of our workshops are either instructor led, where you can ask questions, or we have what's known as self-paced labs. They're not workshops, but we do have training certification self-paced labs where you can go through. We give you an account, so you register with your email. We give you the account, and we give you steps, and we'll say, Here are the steps. Here's some sample code. Go ahead and just walk through it and understand what's happening. Now, with the workshops themselves, we do have instructor-led workshops where we can help you and we can answer your questions. You have a live expert right in front of you. So I'm going to say no, it's not outside of your league. All right, everyone. It is 10 minutes to the top of or to the very end of our session. We'll go ahead and bring that Q&A, or sorry, we'll bring that slide back one more time. And here it is, episode 1 homework. Thank you for everyone for joining us during the session. If you choose to accept this challenge, please do. Your challenge, your homework is to review the Cloud Essentials Ramp Up Guide. We'll throw that link in the chat one more time for you. Complete and share your favorite learning resource on LinkedIn and tag us using hashtag AWS Power Hour. My alias is Aaron S. Hunter. You can find me on LinkedIn or Twitter. And Matt has the longest alias ever. You can find him at Matthew-Heffernan-1978082. We'll get that fixed before next week. Speaking of next week, thank you for joining, everyone. We will see you next week on Friday, August 19th at 9:30 a.m. Pacific time, and we'll cover security and compliance. And security is job 1 here at AWS. All right, everyone. Thanks for joining. Thanks for tuning in to AWS Power Hour Cloud Practitioner. Enjoy the rest of your day. Enjoy your weekend when it arrives for you, unless you're halfway around the world, and then it's already the weekend for you. Take care, and I'll see you on Friday, August 19th.